Well folks, it's the final day already of Special Projects Pack number 13, the second to last build. Much like the Bimota Peugeot from yesterday, you would assume, probably, that this is a fake build, but it's actually real, believe it or not. Mazda built just over 20 of these back in 1991 to celebrate their victory in the 787B. As you can pretty obviously tell from the paint, they teamed up with a legendary Mazda tuner as well, BBR in particular. And although you can't make it spot on in terms of, in particular, that split grille at the front, which the real car has, aside from that, it's not too far off. Even with the visual mods like the rear wing, etc., you can get it more than close enough to be convincing. In real life, the dumbest thing, I think, is that a couple of the owners of these actually asked Mazda to repaint them in a normal colour. And although the colour might not be for everyone, I would beg the question, well then why bother buying it? The whole point is that it's a special edition, so when you have this and don't have the special edition paint, you've just dropped so much value out of the car, so I think that's kind of weird. And a fun fact, it wasn't a wrap. Mazda actually painted it this colour, or these colours, which, you know, the extra mile going into that, and then to ask them to repaint it in, like, blue or something, it's just so stupid to me. You know, in terms of replicating this one, it's actually dead easy to do, it's super cheap, and for somebody who is an MX-5 fan, you could have a lot of fun in something like this, which, from what I hear, is kind of the case in real life as well, because in real life, the Le Mans edition was not just a visual upgrade, it actually had a turbo kit with about 150 horsepower, and it could do 0 to 60 in 6.8 seconds, and that's properly quick for a little MX-5 in 1991, so in terms of the build, you can get it bang on the right level of power. In fact, for some weird reason, I'm just noticing now it says 149 horses, although in the garage menu it said 150. I'm pretty sure it said that just now. And you probably saw that happen in real time, so that's a bit odd. But anyway, we've got the sports air filter, the sports pads. It comes with medium tyres anyway, but I've just given it a little bit of a boost up to comfort softs. For the Club Sports section, nothing is fitted, not even the power restrictor and ballast, which I usually do because you just don't really need it for this one. As far as the semi-racing stuff, you want your low RPM turbo, works out perfectly both for the horsepower and also being the low end, you don't have to worry about the lag. You've got that instant punch, which is really nice to work with. The fully customised diff, the height adjustable sports suspension is what I've gone with. The polished ports, of course that's technically overkill compared to real life, but you've got to get it up to the right power level one way or another. Likewise with the racing intercooler, that is technically higher than it should be, but again, it needs to have the right level of spec, and as far as the other stuff down here, that is all untouched. For the extreme section, again, steering angle adapter certainly isn't necessary, but I wanted that extra turn-in, extra fun factor on it. And for the ultimate stuff, nothing is fitted there. So, like I said earlier on, it's a pretty damn easy build to do, and it's dead cheap as well. So 436 points is extremely low for such a quick and fun little car, so you might even be able to use this for some events if you wanted to. And obviously the comfort tyres do make a big difference in terms of where it's going to sit. So we've got the softs fitted. It does seem that 149 horsepower is what it's sitting at now for some weird reason. I'm not exactly sure why. As far as the suspension, as I spit all over the place, as far as the suspension, the ride height is 115mm. It sounds super high, but like you can see, that sits pretty perfectly for the real car. We've got one on anti-roll because it's non-adjustable, of course, 35 and 45 with the height adjustable suspension, that is. Obviously with the racing suspension you can change it. 35 and 45 on the dampers, 1.75 on the springs, half a degree of camber, and we just got a little bit of toe naturally on the back from that suspension setup as well. As far as the diff, 10, 30 and 20, so nothing particularly crazy there. As far as the transmission, of course that was standard, no power adjustment, no ballast, no ECU adjustment there. As far as the downforce, I've got it minimal on the rear, which is still, you know, a decent amount for a little road car, and I've just bumped it to 10 on the front. The reason for that is so it's not only got downforce on the rear, and at the same time it means that having that front spoiler, it's actually doing something, you know, and you don't necessarily want to have downforce on the back and not on the front, because that can upset the handling a little bit sometimes. And as far as the rest, well, you already saw it. It was super simple to do, so all that remains is to, of course, jump out to a racetrack and show you what it's like in practice. As far as notes go, I mean, there barely are any. This thing is wonderful to drive. It's so much fun. And for something that only has 150 horsepower, I think they actually did a pretty damn good job of representing how fun the real version of this must be. Because not only do you have the wacky paint, of course the interesting, let's say, visual upgrades, which won't be for everyone, especially in the case of the real car with that split grille at the front, but in terms of performance, which I'm pretty sure you could do to this even without it being the Le Mans edition, you could probably just take your MX-5 to BBR and essentially do the same thing. So 150 horses, like the 6.8 second 0 to 60 time. It's no wonder why they're such a popular company for MX-5 builders and tuners, because this thing is so much fun. It feels like it's way quicker than the point level should be, and although you can get the tail out, I mean, you'll see it here in the video, it's so controlled, and with only 150 horses, it's not like it's a challenging car to drive, in any sense. It's super easy, super forgiving, very beginner friendly, and like I said, pretty cheap to do as well. So at least if you're watching this close to the time of release, there should still actually be one of these in the used dealer, as well as the TVR from on Monday when I did the Tuscan touring car. So it's funny how often that keeps happening with these special projects builds, and obviously I have no way of knowing ahead of time, or at least I don't think I do. Maybe they go around in the same order, I've never checked, but it's funny how often that happens, that the car comes up for sale right when you need it. But if you do decide to use this build, of course I hope you have a ton of fun with it. You definitely will, it's a lot of fun to drive, and of course stick around later today for the last build in pack number 13, and of course check out the other ones earlier in the week. But for now, thanks for watching.